Another day, another demonstration. Police in Kinshasa cracked down on a march protesting against Emmanuel Macron as the French president visited the Democratic Republic of Congo, aiming at renewing frayed ties.
What happens when the public chooses a leader who genuinely stands for them? Leaders like President Bassirou Diomaye Faye and Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko have boldly decided to end French dominance. This is expected when leaders aren't mere puppets. President Faye's decision to shut down all French military bases in Senegal has caught France off guard.
Many of the protesters held up Russian flags, chanting anti-French sentiments. We marched against the French president because of his support for the Rwandan army. We don't want him in our country. But unfortunately, we were chased by the police. I fled, and the other demonstrators were arrested. Anti-French sentiment.
But can anything be done now? Can France persuade Senegal to regain control? Let's find out. In a historic and unprecedented move, Senegal's President Bassirou Diomaye Faye announced the closure of all French military bases, marking a significant shift in the nation's post-colonial trajectory. Over 6 decades after independence, this decision represents a bold assertion of Senegal's sovereignty and a pivotal step towards strategic autonomy. Also, Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko's criticism of the continued French military presence has highlighted the country's aspirations for self-determination, resonating deeply with the Senegalese people.
Now in West Africa, troops are being withdrawn from Mali after a 9-year mission. Other European countries also leaving. So,
why is Senegal taking this decisive step now?
You know, the number of violent extremist attacks have been on a steady increase. And people have the perception that French, with all the sophisticated military capacities that it has, should be able to address that situation. But this has not been the case, and people's expectations have not been met.
Closing French military bases is not merely a policy shift for Senegal. It is a declaration of intent for the nation's future. Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko's emphatic rhetoric on sovereignty and self-determination reverberates with the historical echoes of Senegal's struggle for true independence. This move is a poignant reminder of the nation's journey from colonial subjugation to the present quest for genuine autonomy. Sonko's argument that true independence cannot coexist with foreign military forces occupying significant parts of the country, particularly in the capital Dakar, reflects a broader sentiment across the Sahel region. Countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have expelled French troops, seeking new alliances, notably with Russia, to combat insurgencies. This regional shift is driven by a collective desire to reclaim sovereignty and develop security strategies that resonate with national interests rather than external dictates.
Isn't it? How do we explain that?
Yes, so relationship between the two partners, if I can call them partners, but the regime in Mali and Paris have been strained in recent times, particularly given the refusal of the junta in Mali to comply with regional norms and principles to return the country into constitutional rule. So aside from that, the emergence of the Wagner Group on the scene is a development that is not acceptable to the French, who are not prepared to cohabitate with these but then mercenaries. So that strained relationship has been at the heart of the recent development, and therefore the decision of the French to pull out.
For Senegal, the decision to close French bases is driven by a complex interplay of political, cultural, and economic factors. Politically, it strengthens the government's position domestically by appealing to nationalist sentiments. Culturally, it aligns with broader resistance to Western influence on issues that many Senegalese see as incompatible with their values and traditions. Economically, it opens the door to renegotiating key contracts and economic policies that are seen as disproportionately benefiting foreign powers. Sonko's vision for a more flexible currency arrangement and his plans to renegotiate oil and gas contracts underscore a commitment to economic self-reliance. By seeking to diversify its economic partnerships and reduce dependency on a single foreign power, Senegal aims to create a more resilient and autonomous economy. But what border trend in Africa does this show? Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Senegal's decision aligns with a broader regional trend in the Sahel, where countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are expelling French troops and seeking alternative alliances, notably with Russia, to combat insurgencies. This regional shift is driven by a collective desire to reclaim sovereignty and develop tailored security strategies that resonate with national interests rather than external dictates. The backlash against perceived neo-colonialism is another critical factor. Across West Africa, there is growing resentment towards the remnants of colonial influence, which many see as hindering true independence. France's continued control over aspects such as defense and monetary policy is viewed by many as a legacy of colonialism that needs to be dismantled. This resentment has fueled a drive to reduce foreign military presence and take back control of national affairs. Economic considerations also play a crucial role. Many Sahelian countries are seeking to diversify their partnerships and alliances to better address their economic needs. By distancing themselves from France and exploring new alliances, these countries aim to reduce dependency on any single power and create a more balanced and resilient economic environment. In the case of Senegal, Prime Minister Sonko's plans to renegotiate oil and gas contracts and explore a more flexible currency arrangement are clear indicators of this economic strategy. And how would this impact Africa and France relations overall?
They had the feeling that this junta in power, with the President Maga and Goïta, are keen on getting rid of the French, that they want to put an end to the French presence. They made the cooperation impossible very difficult between the French forces and the Malian army. And therefore, I think that now they've approached, they're keener for a rapprochement with Russia. At the moment, it's not officially with Russia, but let's not forget that when Mali became independent in 1961, they were backed strongly by the Soviet Union of the time, and some of their generals have been trained by the Russian army, so there are close links with the Russian army. And they thought that maybe there was behind it an attempt maybe to change alliance by Mali, and therefore felt not welcomed anymore. They could see that the anti-French feeling was developing in the country, which had been whipped up by social networks and by the current authorities. It made their situation untenable. Having been an army of liberation, they are now considered as an army of occupation. They're accused of promoting the partition of the country.
Senegal's bold move to close French military bases will have profound implications for both Africa and France. It not only redefines the bilateral relationship, but also signals a broader geopolitical shift in West Africa. This decision challenges France to rethink its long-standing military and diplomatic strategies while paving the way for Senegal to bolster its national security and regional leadership. For Senegal, the closure of French military bases is a significant assertion of national sovereignty. This move will require Senegal to enhance its military capabilities to compensate for the absence of French support. This involves modernizing military infrastructure, improving training programs, and building a self-reliant defense force capable of addressing national security challenges independently. This decision also sends a powerful message to the international community. It signals that Senegal is willing to take bold steps to assert its sovereignty and make decisions that reflect its national interests. This move is likely to resonate with other African nations that are also seeking greater independence and self-reliance. By setting this precedent, Senegal positions itself as a leader in the movement towards greater African sovereignty and self-determination. For France, Senegal's decision prompts a significant reassessment of its role in West Africa. France's military presence in the region has been a cornerstone of its foreign policy since the colonial era. The withdrawal of French troops from Senegal forces France to reevaluate its military and diplomatic strategies in the region. France is likely to adopt a multifaceted approach, engaging diplomatically with Senegalese officials to explore avenues for negotiation and reassess its strategic deployment in the region. Beyond immediate military considerations, France will likely engage in broader diplomatic efforts to reaffirm its commitment to regional stability and counterterrorism. Increased collaboration with regional organizations like the African Union (AU) and the Economic Community of West African States (ECOWAS) can bolster France's legitimacy and support for its military presence in the region. This reassessment may lead France to seek new forms of engagement that are more respectful of the sovereignty and independence of African nations. Now the question is, how has the public reacted to this?
It's a good question, indeed, because it shows that that's one of the reasons why there's this anti-French feeling that France is playing a double game, is the fact that France tries to promote the idea of democratic governments, imposes democratic conditions on governments it wants to help, while at the same time backing the coup in Chad when the President Déby was killed, died. His son replaced him without an election and so on, and the French said amen to that. So
the announcement to close French military bases has elicited a spectrum of reactions across Senegal. Many citizens, particularly the youth, celebrated as a reclaiming of national pride. One student in Dakar stated, "This is the dawn of a new era for Senegal." Such sentiments underscore a generational shift towards assertive nationalism and independence. Academics and activists have also weighed in on the decision, providing a more analytical perspective on its implications. Scholars have discussed the broader impacts on Senegal's foreign policy and national identity. They argue that closing the bases is not just a political move, but a significant step towards redefining Senegal's place in the world. This decision is seen as an assertion of national sovereignty and a rejection of neo-colonial influence. Human rights and political activists have highlighted the move as a victory for anti-colonial efforts and a push towards greater regional autonomy. They emphasize that the presence of foreign military bases has long been a point of contention and a symbol of lingering colonial influence. By closing these bases, Senegal is taking a stand for its sovereignty and sending a powerful message to other African nations. While the decision has been largely celebrated, it has also raised some concerns and challenges. Critics argue that Senegal must be prepared to address the security and economic implications of this move. Enhancing military capabilities and ensuring national security without foreign support will require significant investment and strategic planning. There are also concerns about the potential economic impact, particularly in terms of foreign investment and bilateral relations with France.
Pour dire à ces petits Macron de la France que le Niger nous appartient. C'est à nous de faire ce que nous voulons du Niger, ce que nous voulons, nous traitons avec qui nous voulons.
Despite these challenges, many view the decision as an opportunity for growth and development. By investing in its own military and economic infrastructure, Senegal has the potential to become more self-reliant and resilient. This move could also foster greater regional cooperation and integration, as Senegal seeks new partnerships and alliances within Africa. But to be safe, let's see what economic implications this decision will have. Let's talk about each change. The economic implications of closing French military bases are multifaceted. Prime Minister Sonko's plans to renegotiate oil and gas contracts aim to ensure that Senegal benefits more directly from its natural resources. This move is expected to boost the national economy and reduce reliance on foreign investments. By securing better terms for its natural resources, Senegal aims to create a more equitable and beneficial economic environment for its citizens. Sonko's call for a more flexible currency pegged to at least two other currencies is another significant economic measure. This strategy is designed to better absorb economic shocks and support exports, fostering economic resilience. A more flexible currency arrangement would allow Senegal to respond more effectively to global economic fluctuations and enhance its economic stability. Enhancing Senegal's military capabilities will require significant investment in infrastructure and training. This presents both a financial challenge and an opportunity for job creation and technological advancement. Building a self-reliant military will involve substantial expenditure on modernizing equipment, improving training programs, and developing domestic defense industries. While this investment is necessary for national security, it also offers opportunities for economic growth and development. The decision to close French military bases also opens up new opportunities for regional trade and cooperation. As Senegal distances itself from French influence, there may be increased opportunities for regional trade and cooperation with neighboring countries. This could lead to greater economic integration in West Africa and the development of new economic partnerships. By fostering regional cooperation, Senegal can enhance its economic prospects and contribute to broader regional stability. What future does this hold for Senegal? Senegal's decision to close French military bases marks a pivotal moment in its pursuit of sovereignty and self-reliance. This strategic move sets a precedent for other African nations striving for autonomy. With a renewed focus on enhancing military capabilities, renegotiating economic partnerships, and fostering regional cooperation, Senegal is poised to lead a new era of African self-determination and resilience. One of the key prospects for Senegal is the development of a self-reliant military. Enhancing military capabilities will require significant investment in infrastructure, training, and technology. This process will involve modernizing equipment, improving training programs, and developing domestic defense industries. While this investment is necessary for national security, it also offers opportunities for economic growth and technological advancement. Economic self-reliance is another critical prospect for Senegal. The decision to renegotiate oil and gas contracts and explore a more flexible currency arrangement is part of a broader strategy to achieve economic independence. By securing better terms for its natural resources and creating a more resilient economic system, Senegal aims to reduce reliance on foreign investments and enhance its economic stability. Regional cooperation is also a key prospect for Senegal. As the country distances itself from French influence, there may be increased opportunities for regional trade and cooperation with neighboring countries. This could lead to greater economic integration in West Africa and the development of new economic partnerships. By fostering regional cooperation, Senegal can enhance its economic prospects and contribute to broader regional stability. In addition to these strategic goals, the decision to close French military bases has significant symbolic value. It represents a bold step towards reclaiming national sovereignty and asserting independence. This move aligns with the aspirations of many Senegalese and resonates with the broader continental movement towards reducing dependency on former colonial powers. By taking this step, Senegal is setting a precedent for other African nations and positioning itself as a leader in the quest for greater African sovereignty and self-reliance. Overall, the closure of French military bases is a significant and symbolic move that reflects Senegal's aspirations for the future. It is a step towards reclaiming national sovereignty, promoting economic independence, and enhancing regional stability and cooperation. By charting its course, Senegal is contributing to the broader goal of a more autonomous and self-reliant Africa. The prospects for Senegal are bright, as the country positions itself as a leader in the movement toward greater African sovereignty and self-reliance. Do you think the new leaders of Senegal are making the right decision? What would happen if France were forced to leave permanently? Let us know in the comment section. Can France convince Senegal to get its military bases back? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.